Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.
Welcome to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials, a show where we delve week by week into each chapter of the Harry Potter series. Welcome back to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials. I'm going to do this new thing in the chapters going forward where we're going to introduce ourselves. So I am always, as always, I am Adam, and this is my co-host, Ari. Ari, say hi.
Hi. Hello. Thank you for joining us today.
Welcome back. We're so pleased to be here for book 5. Before we get into the chapter, I do want to give our general, we do this every book. Let's give our general take on at least what we remember of Order of the Phoenix, where we're at with Harry in this book, or just in general what our thoughts are. I can go first. I have not reread this book. This is the first book officially that I have not reread since I read it.
I'm so excited for you.
So 5, 6, and 7. This is like
this
is time number 2 reading it. So I mean, I generally remember
all
what
of
goes
them?
on, especially because 5, 6, and 7.
All of them? Wow. I didn't really realize that. I mean, I guess why would you randomly start reading book 6?
Like 6.
Just So sure, valid.
I mean, I guess 6 could make sense if I was gearing up to read 7. But I've never reread 5, 6, or 7. I don't have many thoughts about this book. I have the general Harry's angsty in this book, which I feel gets exhausting.
Yeah.
And I already had a bit of it in this chapter where I was like, oh God, here we go. It's gonna be long. It's gonna be a long book. But here's what I will say, looking forward to this book. The chapters are longer. But I think that means there's going to be more, more stuff going on,
right,
more to discuss, more to get into.
Right.
I
agree.
This is the longest book, or Half-Blood Prince is longer?
No, I think this is the longest one. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
We can double check that.
We're definitely in the territory of the
sure.
longest 3 books. We are now officially into the tomes of the Harry Potter series. So I'm very excited. Can't wait to go on this journey of reflection as Jo continues to wither away any goodwill people had toward her.
Right.
In real time.
Yeah. She continues to take herself down for all
We're
of
also
us.
recording this early. This is before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And for our English
before,
listeners, late November, because you have no idea when Thanksgiving is. It'll be interesting to see by the time this comes out if she's done anything else. Because I'm sure who's to doubt that she's going to do something.
Who's to know what else she's going to say in between now and when this releases? So
nothing of substance. Nothing of substance.
Nothing of substance.
Substance. Subterfuge. Ari, thoughts on also the irony of me being I'm hot, so I'm wearing a t-shirt, and you're in Southern California wearing a full sweatshirt. I am in Chicago.
You know what? I always debate whether actually wearing one when we're recording, though, because I start off kind of cold, but then when we start talking about the book, I end up sweating every time. I sweat every time.
It's 52 degrees here, so I was I am hot today. It is toasty.
That's so funny. Yeah, wait, let me see what the temperature is here right now. 68.
I'm sure it's a perfect, sounds about right.
I mean, I'm in my apartment. We're really in the shade, so
sure, that's true.
It's cooler inside.
In the valley.
But yeah, yes.
Ari, do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, the main thing I always think of is how much everyone fucking hates Umbridge. And then I also just think about how much I loved Dumbledore's army. In terms of cool ideas that JK has come up with in the series, Dumbledore's army is gotta be in my top 3. All these students coming together to be little wizard activists basically and teach each other self-defense. I'm here and like everything
100%.
they get to do, like all the spells that they learn. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I mean, other than that, pretty much the same thing you said, where it's just like angsty Harry. And I feel like now being an adult, literally being 30 and reading a book about a 15-year-old boy, so now we are twice his age, I feel like I'm gonna have a lot more perspective on like, even right away in this chapter, like I was like, this poor kid is like immediately alienated after the most traumatic event, and he's had a lot of traumatic events, but this is the newest traumatic event.
Yeah, this is fresh.
Yeah, and it's like anything even half that bad, it would be terrible to be alienated from everyone, you know? So I was already like, oh gosh, like, yeah, he's angsty. And like you, same thing of what you said, even in this chapter, I was like, oh God, Harry, like, what are we doing? But I think I have more perspective as an adult.
It's it's written like an actual 15-year-old would act. Like, I don't disbelieve that is a 15-year-old character for sure.
Right. Yeah. And just knowing how like
sometimes you know how like adults will write children characters or younger characters, but they'll write them to be like wise beyond their years.
Oh, Adam, I hate that's my pet peeve.
Like very precocious. Yeah.
Well, I'm just like where it's like very like adult jokes or like that kind of like witty sense of humor, but they're like 7. And I'm always like,
I mean, that was me as a 7-year-old. So but anyway,
excuse me, my bad.
I was just unique. Great.
Unique.
I would say this book, if we're comparing like things that we like that Joe has put into the series that are in this book, like yours was Dumbledore's Army. I am fascinated by St. Mungo's.
Oh yeah, right. We've never seen into the wizarding world in that way before.
No, and truly we won't really ever again after this book, which is like kind of unfortunate. But I would love a full spin-off series that's like Scrubs.
St. Mungo's Maladies.
But it's St. Mungo's. Yeah. It's a
Adam,
sitcom.
let's write it. Adam.
Let's write it.
We're going to write it. Come on.
RJ's not the only one who can help you write.
Exactly. I'm aware. Exactly. Yes, this is ours. St. Mungo's. St. Mungo's, the TV show.
We just have to get the rights from Joe, after which they tell her that we've like bashed her name like thousands of times.
Easy.
I wouldn't delete a lick of it. I stand firm in what I've said. Oh, well. What a delightful conversation to start our book 5 series with.
So fun. Oh, yeah.
Well, Ari, this week we read chapter 1 called Dudley Demented. Ari, what happens in this chapter?
Harry pouts and then has to take down a Dementor.
Yeah.
Or angsty here. Yeah. No, let me do that again. Angsty Harry has to take down a Dementor.
He has now proved that he officially can do a Patronus charm without it being like a weird, like I knew I could do it because I saw myself do it again.
Well, no, he does it in book 4. Remember? In the maze, he did it.
Oh, yes, that's right.
But that was a moment where it was a Bogart. It wasn't an actual Dementor real. In the end. So this is the first time he's actually faced a real Dementor again since book 3. So this chapter opens with there being a drought. The UK sounds a lot like Los Angeles County right now. Okay.
It sure does.
All the dried up grass. I was like, oh, yeah, this isn't fun. Harry's sitting outside under the windowsill, and the only reason that he is sitting out in this like heat is because he's trying to hear the news, and he's apparently had to come up with clever ideas to be able to like hide and listen to the news. So he's been watching the news because he's looking for any update on, you know, Voldemort related stuff. Sure enough, hasn't really been anything that he's heard.
And spoiler alert, there won't be anything he's hearing for like the next 36 chapters.
Yeah. So he's like frustrated by that he's like, what is going on? They're not talking about what's really happening in the world. While he's sitting under the windowsill, he sees his neighbor, Mrs. Fig, he's a batty old lady who loved cats, basically. And I was like, obviously a squib. Our only example of a squib is Filch. This woman is obviously a squib.
She's female. She's female Filch. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. It's like a little bit more.
Except she's
like,
nice
to talk to. Yeah. And so I feel like, Harry, maybe you could have, I don't know, been a little bit more aware, but fine, whatever. I guess he's 15. So a 15-year-old boy is not very aware. So right after he sees her like tottering down the road, he hears a big loud bang.
So I just wanted to make note of two things from the news segment portion of this chapter. First of all, I'd like to commend Jo. She finally took a note from our first chapter conversations of books 2, 3, and 4, where we were like, stop doing the thing where you just spend one entire chapter reiterating everything we've read before. And she really doesn't. I mean, she does do a little bit of like, Harry Potter was a black-haired, bespectacled boy. Right. Yeah. But it's very short comparatively to the other first chapters.
It's pretty quick.
So,
yeah.
During the news segment, there's like this weird thing. There's this weird like line Vernon has where he's like, I don't even know if Dudley knows who the prime minister is.
Oh, and I forgot to make a note of that.
But like,
and then he's
so
like proud of him.
Yeah. Yes. So that's where we're at.
That was really bizarre.
Yeah. And like, honestly, Dudley, I don't know prime ministers either, but I do watch The Crown, and that's how I know most of them by this point. So I recommend Netflix's The Crown.
Just put The Crown on. That seems too intellectual for him.
It's now funny that this past season of The Crown was with Imelda Staunton, and she's Professor Umbridge.
Exactly.
So we've got that nice little tie-in to pop culture currently. So that, and then the other one was like, there was like a Spanish luggage people at the airport were on strike. And Vernon made some comment about, he was like, why don't they go on siesta forever or whatever? And I am not surprised that Vernon Dursley is anti-union. I'm not surprised that he's against collective bargaining. That doesn't shock me. It seems apropos to his character. Shockingly, we did not, you know what we didn't get was the like big, rotund, fat whale of a man, Vernon Dursley, and tiny little thin bony structured woman Petunia. But we do later, I feel like, get some of that with Dudley.
Yes, with Dudley we get that. But yes, you're right.
But then Dudley's is also different this book. It's very strange. The whole we're in a new era. We're in a new era, girlies.
Yeah, she has turned over a new leaf. She's approaching it in a different way, but like also still has the fat. She can't resist a little fat phobia though, can she?
Oh my God.
And now she's having Harry say it. She's having Harry be fat phobic.
It's so like, bad, Ari. It's so bad.
I hate it.
Just reveal yourself. Reveal yourself.
Reveal. So Harry hears this loud bang, and he jumps up and bashes his head into the windowsill. And I was like, I'm sorry, Harry, you could have a concussion. Please don't like storm off. Anyways, Vernon sees him like, you know, stand up out of nowhere and like grabs him around the throat.
What?
People can see you, Vernon. What are you doing? Like, I understand that they don't care about like taking care of Harry when they're in the house. Like, they're clearly fine with abusing him. But like, you're so worried about what people think of you, and yet you're like grabbing him by the throat, like in front of all your neighbors. And then like right after that, thankfully, because Harry is magical, there's like a jolt that goes through him that like causes Vernon to let go of him. But then Vernon's just like to the neighbors. He's like, oh yeah, it gave us quite a fright. Like quite a fright. So you strangled your nephew? Like
it's the thing of like, I don't even know what we're doing in terms of like Albus Dumbledore by allowing Harry to stay with the Dursleys is like technically advocating for like abuse because like what's going on.
Bystander.
But he's like, well, that's where he's safe. As if there's not a billion other ways to like keep Harry Potter safe. Just leave him at school.
Yeah. Just let him stay at Hogwarts over the summer.
What are we doing? Ivy. Yeah.
So after this happens, Harry.
This is my first question where I was like, was the crack someone apparating? And
yes,
then it's not answered. I mean, it's kind of answered, but it's not like answered as to who or anything.
Yeah, right. It was someone apparating. We just don't know who. Well, I mean, I know it was someone apparating because I remember this book. I guess at this point we don't. As a reader, first-time reader, you don't know why there was a crack.
He guesses that it could be because he says it sounds like
he knows the sound. He like
Dobby
remembers the sound. Yeah, right. Exactly. So after this, he like takes a little angry stroll down the street. And here's where we get the angsty Harry's coming out to play. So he hasn't heard anything of like substance from Ron or Hermione. They're basically just like, well, we can't say anything, but like, hopefully we'll see you soon. Okay, anyways, bye. Like, it's like, he's like, why even send me these letters? Like, you're not even saying anything. Oh, before this, he did admit to Petunia and Vernon that like the owls haven't really been bringing him letters. Yeah, which he's like embarrassed to admit. And so he's, like I said at the beginning, he's very alienated. He doesn't have any contact with anyone really. Even when he's talking to Sirius Black, he's not as annoyed at Sirius as he is Ron and Hermione because Sirius's letters are like a little bit more detailed, but even Sirius is just essentially being like, well, be a good boy and like just like sit tight and we'll be with you shortly. And so Harry's like, well, that's rich coming from my godfather who was like in Azkaban. Cool.
Right.
What?
Just like Harry, I was this age. I was 15. I had this energy. Everyone has. Everyone's gone through this period of being like, literally everybody's out to get me.
Everyone hates me.
The problem is that like for Harry Potter, it's kind of real. Is that like everyone is out to get Harry Potter? So in that regard, like he's not wrong. It still is annoying. It's still annoying.
Yeah.
There was a line where he said he alludes to the summer break being only 4 weeks long. And I was like, what?
I read it as he himself had only been there for 4, like he had been there for a month and heard.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably what it was.
No, that would be crazy.
Already had
1 month.
Could you imagine?
Not enough time.
I mean, I think in total the summer holiday is only 2 months. Because it was like the end of June total. When they had the third task. And then he goes back to school on September 1st. Yeah, and his birthday is July 31st.
True. That's true.
So.
Yeah, so August and July. Yep.
Something to think about.
So as he's on his little like emo stroll, he's in his mind, he's just kind of going through all the things. He's like, oh, well, I'll have to find a new hiding spot, I guess. And then he like goes and like moodily sits down at a swing on a playground. And he's like, oh, gosh, I hate it here. My life sucks. Like just typical 15-year-old boy. But as Adam said, I mean, this really does suck. Like, especially when he's like, didn't they know what I did? Like, oh, no one thinks they can trust me. I was the one that like was with fucking Voldemort and no one's going to tell me shit. Like, I understand him having those thoughts. I get it. He's valid in having these very frustrated thoughts.
He's valid. He's also very different from me, where I'd be like, I'm so glad I don't know anything that's going on. I'm glad I'm not in the wizarding world at the moment. Like, Voldemort's back, and I'm just out here in little whinging.
I'm just chilling.
Who's gonna find me here? That's my take as Harry Potter. This is why I'm not a Gryffindor. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Not a Gryffindor.
I mean, I'm not a Gryffindor either, but I would be like, how dare you not tell me anything? I would be so upset. I would be like, I have been in the dark for a whole month. How dare you, bitches?
No, I'm good.
After he's been at the playground for a while, Dudley and his friends show up. And then it's just Dudley.
And now it's
Dudley
a bummer. And now the chapter sucks.
If Dudley wasn't already a bully, he's like full on. Like Michael calls people like this chavs. That like they're literally just like the neighborhood bully.
Yeah.
They just wait for kids to like come home from school. Like one time a guy tried to take Michael's bike, I think it was. Michael. I don't know if he can hear me. Michael. Was there a chav that he tried to take your bike that one time? Here he comes. What? Wasn't there a chav that tried to take your bike?
Oh, it was a whole group of chavs.
A whole group. Dudley and his gang.
Ask him if Dennis the Menace is like different in Britain than it is in America.
Oh no, it is. Dennis the Menace is different for you. He's like a blonde kid for us here. He's like lighthearted. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a nasty little urchin.
Yeah, he's evil. Yeah, he says it was a group of chavs, but Michael just rode away on his bike quickly.
Oh,
so he got away.
Cool.
But it's like, and Michael's hometown is like a small hometown. So I'm like,
sure.
And they have to have chavs just like loitering on the streets. I don't know. Maybe because
I mean,
South
girl, so was South Bend.
No, I know, but South Bend wasn't like in his hometown. They walk everywhere. Like that's how small it is. And
right.
So I was like, they have. I mean, I guess there's bullies everywhere.
I think it's the thing of like. I think it's just the thing of like teenager. It's the thing of teenagers who have nothing to do, so they just like create little gangs.
People.
And then they're like,
yeah, gross.
This is the most power I'll ever feel. I've ever felt.
Good luck. Yeah, so gross. I think that's so stupid.
Let's talk about Dudley.
Okay.
We got to discuss Dudders. You know what I mean?
He's a boxer now.
He's a boxer now. It's giving Rocky vibes. She does need to let us know that he is still massive and huge. And then she goes through the motions of like this conversation, and we'll talk about it, but like the conversation between Harry and Dudley, which is like weirdly, I think the most we've ever seen them talk to each other. So that's really interesting.
It's a full conversation.
We're 5 books in, and this is the first conversation we've ever seen them have. Dudley's a bad character, right? Like he's a villain. He's an antagonist. He's not good. I would say Harry comes off worse in this conversation. Like,
he does.
By and large. And like Dudley just got finished like beating up some like 10-year-old probably.
Yeah.
So like also not great. But like in this moment that we're in, Harry's just like goading him and being like,
he's
you're
goading
so
him fully
piggly wiggly. And it's like, girl, what is going on? Stop. We were
You're so fucking piggly wiggly.
It's the Tyra Banks, like, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
How dare you? For what? But like, why? It doesn't do anything to the scene.
Pouty. Yeah, he's just looking for trouble. He's just picking at Dudley to pick at someone, you know? Like, it's so gross.
I think the worst part is just that like there's the moment where Harry like acknowledges that he's like, I know I'm doing this because he's the only person that I can like take this out on, but he doesn't feel remorse about it, which is like if there was like a little bit of him that was like he felt bad for like carrying on this way because he knew it was like not whatever, but he couldn't help himself because his emotions were so tied in knots or something. Like, then I'd be like, okay, we've all been there. But it's the way that he's just like, and that's what it is, girls. And that's where we're at.
That's what I'm doing. I mean, maybe we're not supposed to feel bad for Dudley because of like the history with Harry and Dudley, which like, I don't feel bad for Dudley, but it's just the whole like, Harry, you're making yourself look bad. Like, what are you doing?
To quote like, Michelle Obama.
Yes.
What's the quote?
When they go low, we go high.
When
girl.
they go low, we go high. I was like, lift them up. What is
Yes, that? Exactly. When they go low, we go high. So Harry, you went a little low, girl. You went a lot low.
You went a lot low. You're tunneling.
You're tunneling underground. I mean, my thing was that it's just like he's just asking for trouble, basically. Like he's giving Dudley shit. Of course, it's fat phobic because that's just what
that's the brand.
JK loves to. That's
it's
the brand.
Her
And like,
there's nothing better than fat phobia.
So relatable, right? It's so relatable, fat phobia. It's the first time where, like you said, like we're seeing Harry do something like this and there's no type of like ethical awareness or like, guilt for like not being his best self or whatever. I feel like previously Harry typically is like, ugh, I shouldn't have done that, but I was just upset, you know?
Right. It also feels like the other times we've gotten annoyed with Harry because he's like not acted great. It's been like we're looking back on it now and it's not great. And I feel like even if you would read that at the time, I don't know. I mean, there's no way I remember what I was feeling when I read this the first time because I'm sure I was skimming this entire chapter because I just wanted to get into the book. It does feel like this is the first time where it's like, oh, it's like, I think anyone reading this would be like, this isn't a great look, Harry. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like how Ron had like the last book where it was like, Ron.
Not good, Ron.
Ronald. Multiple times, Ronald. Giants, Ronald.
I think that it's good. It's a good thing that like through Ron and Hermione, he's held accountable to a degree. Like it does reach a point where I think it's Hermione that's like, and I'd really appreciate it if you would stop biting my head off. And then he kind of like begrudgingly is like, sorry. She's like, we're on your side, so you can cut that shit out. And I was like, yeah, good for her. Like, I'm just like, there's no reason for
100%.
Whatever. We're not there yet, but
we're not there yet, but we'll get there.
Someone needs to call him out, and he gets called out, thankfully. So I think we'll see. I think there is a part in the book where it kind of like takes a turn for the better. Now, the one part, the anger that I do kind of feel is justified is when he gets pretty angry at Dumbledore.
Oh, yeah.
We're not there yet, but
we're not there yet, but we will be there. And I famously don't like Dumbledore, so you know I'm about that life.
At all? You don't like him at all?
He's fine, but I think he's very flawed, and I think the fandom likes to treat Dumbledore like he isn't flawed, but like.
Yeah, I mean, I think the positive with Dumbledore is that he is always able to be like, I make mistakes or I did make a mistake. And like, there's no like ego involved, which is what I love about him because, I mean, not a lot of old white men can admit that they're wrong. So, but I mean, that doesn't mean that he's not a flawed character because there's 100 things, I'm sure. He could have done better.
It's not even like necessarily how he's written in the book. It's more like how the fandom treats him. It's a lot of
that he's like this untouchable character. Yeah, right.
Like how the fandom is like Snape was good.
Yeah. Do you know who is an untouchable wizard character? Gandalf.
Gilderoy
Okay.
Lockhart. Oh
no, Gilderoy Lockhart. Gandalf. Okay, Gandalf. Mm-hmm. He did it right. He did it all right.
Gray or white.
Okay. Both. Gandalf overall.
Gandalf all shades. 50 shades of Gandalf.
So anyway, back into Harry Potter book 5.
What's that?
While Harry is just continuously goading Dudley, finally Dudley is like, oh yeah? Well, you have been crying in your sleep. And Harry like very quickly is like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, oh, help me, Mom. Help me, Dad. Dad, help me. Cedric, not Cedric. And then he's like talking about the incident. And I guess Harry has been like talking in his sleep. And so Harry gets very upset about this. And he pulls out his wand to threaten Dudley. But then all of a sudden, while they're bickering, Harry notices that it's gone like pitch black. So Dudley, of course, just assumes that Harry did this because he has his wand out. So he's like, stop doing that. And Harry's like, I didn't do anything. Like, shut up. So Dudley's just basically panicking. And Harry.
Same.
Yeah. Harry is. Yeah.
I was like,
Harry is figuring out that it's Dementors pretty quickly with like the darkness and how it's getting colder. He's like, oh yeah, wait, this is like what happens when a Dementor is around. But Dudley can't like pick up on the Dementors really. Like and he can't see them. And I think maybe he can just feel the sadness, but like he wouldn't be able to hear them or anything. So Harry's the only one that can see/hear them. And then while Harry's trying to figure out what's going on, Dudley punches him.
Yeah, he does.
He just like wallops him. And then sure enough, Harry mentions how he feels like his head has been split open for the second time. And as the daughter of a psychologist, this boy had to have been concussed. Get this boy to a doctor's appointment. Please
Somebody,
do not let him
don't let him go to sleep
for 24 hours. I'm just like,
you.
What is going on?
Brain bleeds.
After Harry is concussed, there are not one, but two Dementors lurking in this alleyway that they're in.
And the second one's a surprise. She's a little bonus. It's a BOGO. Buy one Dementor, get one free.
BOGO Dementors. Great. So, oh my gosh, my autocorrect corrected Lumos to lumps. So Harry says lumps.
Lumps. He says lumps.
Harry says Lumos,
lumps.
hoping to find his wand. And sure enough, it's like inches away from his fingertips. So because he has said the spell, the wand illuminates. This is the first time this has happened, correct?
He's done magic without a wand, but that was like earlier with Vernon, where it's like something instinctual or like almost like animalist, like in
like
book
a
1 where he like jumps on the roof.
than
Yeah,
it's not intentional. So he says Lumos, and even though his wand isn't in his hand, it still lights up. And so I was like, okay, is this like a common occurrence? Because we haven't really heard of this happening. But I was like, that's cool. I like the idea of like in a moment of like urgency, you know, the wand is like, I'm here. Like, hold me. It's just like,
hold me. The wand is me on a Saturday night.
Hold me. So he has trouble summoning his Patronus at first. And so he really has to focus. But even with him being mad at Ron and Hermione, it's Ron and Hermione that help him be able
get
to
there.
Get there, which I was like, that's really sweet.
Ron and Hermione allow him to climax and really release the silvery mist of the Patronus from his member.
No, stop.
From his pointed stick.
Bleh, no.
Bleh.
He is able to summon a Patronus.
Congrats.
And then he's able to fight them off. And Dudley, it was like literally almost like eaten up by this Dementor, basically. Like he saves Dudley in the nick of time, which very nice, Harry, to save Dudley. Good on ya.
Could you imagine if he was just like, nah, and walks away? And then he's like a full anti-hero the rest of the series.
It's like, you're like it's like when they save Malfoy in them too, you know? It's like they would not have done the same for them.
You got to go high.
Sure.
When they go low.
When they go low,
we lift
go
up.
High.
That's the phrase.
As Michelle Obama said, lift up.
Lift up. Lift up.
That's so funny. As Michelle Obama said, what's the quote? Had no idea. So he's able to fight them off. They like evaporate into the air basically, which I was like, how do Dementors work?
Where did they come from?
Where did they go? Are they like dead? Did he like defeat those two Dementors? Are they just like one with the ether now?
Are there a certain number of Dementors in the world? Like you can't kill a Dementor?
Yeah. There's only 50.
There's only 50 in the world, and they all work at Azkaban, and they've been alive for forever.
And then when one dies, like a new like baby Dementor is born.
It's a phoenix. It's a phoenix situation, but there's 50 of them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That was a little weird to me. I was like, that you said that so casually, Joe, but like, what just happened? It faded into the. Okay.
They faded away. The one Dementor looked at the other Dementor and said, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Slowly, like,
I don't feel so good. Yeah. Yeah, that's
my impression
at the
of
moment
the
when
Dementors.
Thanos snapped his finger.
Because they like rattle.
Great. Yes, they rattle. Please stop.
Coming to get ya.
Because they rattle. You know.
You want to hear it again? And I just had a glass of milk, so you know my.
Oh yeah,
I'm
real.
coated
Yeah,
in
not smooth at all.
lactose.
Really gurgly. Yeah, very
dairy,
gurgly.
honey, dairy.
So after he is able to cause them to evaporate into mist with his Patronus, which is a new skill, I guess, Mrs. Fig shows up and he's like, oh shit, I better put my wand away. To which she's like, idiot boy, you leave that wand out.
Keep it out.
Absolutely not. There could be more. Which, like, can you, Adam, what if there had been more Dementors just like chilling, like around the corner?
Just waiting.
It's scary. It literally is like a Christmas Carol where they're just on the street and there's like the giant scary hooded figure. Oh, I hate it.
Reading this chapter, I was very like anxious while I was reading it because it's like it's very horror story, like the way it's written.
Yeah,
where like spooky. Everything goes dark. You can sense the anticipation of something is coming. He sees the Dementors.
Very ominous.
You get the fear of like you as like the reader are like ostensibly a Muggle. So when like you realize that Muggles can't see them, then it's like even scarier.
Right,
of
you
being
would be
like,
so helpless.
if there was a Dementor next to me, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah,
that's really scary. All right, well that wraps up this chapter in under an hour. We'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be reading chapter 2 called A Peck of Owls. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and on Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only, or else you'll be attacked in a suburban alley by a Dementor.
You don't want that.
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HBAnxious or YouTube and TikTok at The Ampliverse. I'm also, you know what, guys? I also have a personal Twitter and Instagram. So I'm on Twitter at Adam Noecker, Noecker. And then my Instagram is Adams Sonyandan. So
Adam
you'll never
Sonyandan.
find it. Ari, do you want to plug your personal or no?
Yeah, my personal Instagram is Ari Lee, Leigh. And then on Twitter, it's just Ari_Lee because I think I had a Twitter account that was Ari Lee, and then it got like shut down. Oh. And I don't know why to this day, but I can't get the old username back. It's so weird.
Well, you can just email Elon. Just tweet him.
Yeah. I'll just reach out to Elon. Casual.
We are hosted on Anchor and recorded on Zencastr, so thank you to the both of them and are a proud member of the Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Ari.
Thank you.
And as always, Knox. Oh, Khaleesi got so excited.
There's a dog barking out there.
Oh.
Knox, Khaleesi.
Slay, Khaleesi.
I wish I could like snap and then like disappear from the frame. Can you edit that? If I do it, will you edit it?
No.
No.